Here we are, guys, with our Week 3 LAN predictions for SPL. This is, of course, the second European group now going in. That's going to consist of NRG, Obey, Cyclone, GG, and Cringe Crew are going to be the 4 teams you see competing here. Of course, this is the regionals, where if you get top 2, you go to Super Regionals. And if you get bottom 2, you go to the Gauntlet for another shot at Super Regionals. So, this starts on Friday of this week at 1 EST. It seems, is what the schedule says. Is it accurate? Who knows? But it says it starts at 1 EST. So we're going to find out. First up, we have NRG Esports versus Cringe Crew. NRG Esports is the top seeded in this group. They're not top seeded in Europe, but they're top seeded in this group. Of course, NRG Esports, previously Panthera, also known as the World Champions, also known as they've won every single LAN this year that they've been a part of. And they'll be going against Cringe Crew, who will be 3rd seeded out of this bracket, only above Cyclone GG, I believe. And this should actually be a pretty good start. NRG not having, I mean, you say they didn't have the best split, but they got 2nd place in Europe. But, you know, for NRG, it was like, 2nd place. But honestly, the only team that they really struggled with, like, intensely was the Orbit Boys, previously Paradigm, of course, and they were in the other bracket in Orbit. Pretty easily went through their bracket, no real problem, solid 1st place. I would expect NRG to be just fine in this group. And so I've got NRG 2-0 to start off your Friday. Obey is going to be your 2nd place team here in Group C. And they're going to be, this is Ataraxia's team, of course, recently picked up by Obey. They're going to be probably one of the more interesting teams to watch. I think that they could definitely have a breakout LAN. I think they're a very solid team. A lot of their players having played at LANs before, so not really any worries there. I'd be more worried about Cringe Crew with their players at a LAN, honestly. And I do think they're going to be very strong. It depends on what kind of quirky picks they bring out. They do sometimes do like a little bit of a weirder strategy, but I'm not too worried about them. I do think Obey is going to play quite strong this LAN. I've got them 2-0. NRG versus Cyclone GG. So, Cyclone is going to be your bottom-seeded team here. Oh, look at that. SMITE is down again. Poof. It's gone. SMITE was down. It's still kind of down. You can't actually play SMITE right now. But, Cyclone GG had a pretty rough split, but rumor has it that they're winning all of their scrims. Now, I don't know how true that is. This is like the trickle-down rumors from European players to NA players at LANs and stuff. So, I don't know how true it is, but supposedly they are winning all of their scrims, and they are on fire right now. But I still don't expect NRG to lose to Cyclone, but apparently they're playing very, very well. So keep that in mind as we head into the 3rd week to kind of keep an eye on Cyclone and see how they're performing, because they may be a secret pick here. They may be that little sneaky pick that comes up and takes one of the top 2 places. Finally, we have Obey versus Cyclone. I think that this will be a closer matchup than NRG Cyclone. If the Cyclone is playing very well, they could most definitely be looking to take a game here. But because I don't actually know whether or not they're winning all their scrims or not, I'm still giving it to Obey 2-0. So I think NRG and Obey are both coming out of day 1 with 6 points. Next up, we have what's going to be the big matches of this Group C, which is going to be NRG Esports versus Obey. Whoever wins these games that comes out on top is going to be most likely your 1st seeded team. They should pretty well, both of those teams should be looking to beat their opposing teams. But when they go head-to-head, that's when they're going to have a lot of pressure on the line, because this will be basically determinant of who's going against Orbit. So reminder, Orbit got first seed in the other group, Group A. First seed will go against, so Orbit will go against the second seed from this group, meaning that whoever gets second group from this Group C will go against Orbit in their best of 5 for Worlds. Nobody wants to go against Orbit for your round of 5 to go to Worlds, right? So it's going to be very important to get this first seed, but I do think it's going to be a split. Cringe Crew versus Cyclone GG. This could be a very good set as well, actually. And this may be very good determining factors for the gauntlet. Reminder, of course, the gauntlet is done by your land point seeding. So you want as many points as you can get, and so you don't want to be bottom seeded going towards that gauntlet. If the rumors are true, though, and if Cyclone is playing up right now, I would expect Cyclone to take that 2-0 over Cringe Crew. Obey versus Cyclone. Nothing too crazy here. The only thing is that Cyclone will be coming off of this 2-0 win off of Cringe Crew potentially. And as well as Obey just having split. That'll possibly be their first loss of the LAN. So maybe their morale's a little bit down. Maybe Cyclone's morale's a little bit up. You could be looking for a split right here because of that morale shift. But the easier bet for you to just get your FP is going to be Obey 2-0. Finally, finishing up that day, you're going to have NRG Esports and Cringe Crew. Cringe Crew, for me, I think is probably going to be the worst team out of this group, just potentially. I think they probably have the lowest chance to make it through, even below Cyclone GG from what I'm hearing. But I do have NRG taking that 2-0. No big deals. Now, pretty much no LAN has gone according to plan. Everything's been crazy after day one, so especially make sure you look at your picks after day one, see who's playing up, see who's not showing up, and make sure you can kind of change your picks a little bit accordingly. I, of course, do not have that luxury because I'm doing them all early. CC versus Cyclone GG. This is going to be another important matchup. If Cringe Crew can, they're going to get wins. It's one of those things. Like, no, I don't think anybody's going to go throughout the LAN without winning a single game. So at some point, they're bound to win. I'll give them a split right here. It's just one of those things where everybody messes up at least at some point, and everybody plays up at some point. So everybody's going to win at least one game. I do think Cringe Crew, though, could be towards the bottom of that. But you know what? We haven't seen these teams play in a long time. You just never really know. Next up, we got Obey versus Cringe Crew. I think Obey will do just fine. That's kind of a weird symbol. Is that supposed to be like an O and a backwards B? Or an upside down A? That's a really weird logo for them with a little slash down here. Anyway, Obey 2-0 over Cringe Crew. I never realized how weird the logo is, but it's pretty weird. But Obey with the 2-0 over Cringe Crew Arena. NRG Esports and Obey. This game could very well determine first and second place seed out of Group C. Presuming everything earlier goes as planned. And we're going to have ourselves probably a split here. Probably a split. Presuming these teams both show up equally. But, you know what I'm saying? But it's probably going to be a split between those two. Finally, NRG Esports, Cyclone GG. Most likely going to be NRG 2-0 with that sweep. So, for the entire week, we're looking at NRG and Obey taking some sweeps on day one. Day two, we get some closer matches with an NRG Obey to start off the day. Going to be your best match of the week. Getting them a split. Cyclone GG as well as Cringe Crew go right after that should be another great set, but I've got Cyclone taking it 2-0, as well as Obey and NRG finishing up your Saturday. And Sunday rounding out with a split between Cringe Crew, Cyclone GG, Obey 2-0 over Cringe Crew. Once again an NRG Obey split, and NRG finishing up over Cyclone with the 2-0. leaving NRG and Obey as your top 2 teams. Pretty standard. But that's what we're looking at, guys, for Group C. If you're watching this on YouTube, let me know down in the comments if you agree, disagree, and why. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as using your Twitch Prime account on Twitch. It's the final countdown.